And good morning on this Tuesday. A little rainy, a little drizzly. We're going to give you the weather coming up in just a second. I'm Monica Adams, your host, and we are in the gorgeous resort studios, The Real Monica Adams Show. If you're new to our show, please do me a favor. Let me know, first of all, what platform are you watching on? We always like to gauge that. And then where are you watching from? And are you on vacation? Are you by chance taking the show with you? I love when I hear that. People taking it states away, even countries away. We have had such an incredible growth over the last couple of months. Every time I look, I just woke up and saw that we are getting close to 27,000 people following us on our business Facebook page. So we're actually on Facebook and on YouTube. And then Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, I am on X and Rumble as well as Instagram. And those platforms keep growing. If there's a platform that you would like for us to be on, please let me know. My email is info@TheRealMonicaAdams.com, as you see right there on the bottom of the screen. Super excited to sit down today with a dear friend that I've known since I was in my teenage years. And it's going to be such a fun, fast show. I have a feeling it's going to go so fast that we're going to be like, oh, we need more time. And the good thing is we're going to have that coming up at the end of the month on May 30th. We will be broadcasting live from my friend Christy Prosser Hall's restaurant. It's called Firefly Grill, which is in Chesterfield. I want you to start getting your friends and family, mark it on the calendar, and come out with us in the afternoon, 4 o'clock. So maybe as you're heading home from work, come on, have some drinks, incredible food, and support those that are supporting us. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're going to talk about the entrepreneurial spirit. We'll talk about a female-owned business. We'll talk about taking a chance when others might think you're crazy. We'll talk about finding love later in life and the loss of a parent and how you continue to go on when that role model is gone, but you show them up in heaven that you're able to do just what they were hoping that you'd be able to do in life. So yes, Christy Prosser Hall will be my guest coming up this hour. We're also going to give you some news you can use, sports roundup, and the weather. First, let's remember someone who's actually played a profound impact on my life. I don't know if you know this, but I played saxophone growing up. David Sanborn passed away at the age of 78. He actually passed away on Sunday from complications due to prostate cancer. But one of the things, I was listening to different news stories about his life coming in this morning, and I found this really cool. He was diagnosed with polio when he was only 3 years old, and they actually used the saxophone as some of his therapy. And then look at this. And he's from St. Louis. We are proud to call him our own. He's from Kirkwood. So rest in peace, David Sanborn. Also today on tap, Mayor Tashara Jones will be delivering the state of the city. That report will be interesting to see what comes out of that. You know, we always talk about where we are in the middle of the year with regards to crime. Are the crime statistics down? People still say they're frustrated about what's going on in the city of St. Louis. Many people say that they stay out of the city. We need to get that thriving again, not just to go in for a sporting event and then go out, but to keep the business in downtown. But how are we going to do that unless we get that crime number, all those crime numbers down? So the state of the city, again, being delivered today by Mayor Tashara Jones. I thought this was kind of fun. A farm, it's Boonville actually, a farm in Boonville, Missouri, announcing the birth of 15 Budweiser Clydesdales. Have you ever had a chance to go out there, by the way? So you see all these wonderful Clydesdales at Grant's Farm, or maybe you go to Anheuser-Busch around the holidays or for the tour. But have you ever been to the actual farm where the babies are? Well, you might want to take a trip west and get a chance to see that. The farm in Missouri that breeds the Clydesdales, welcoming 15 new foals. Also saw that a grandmother, I actually wanted to include this because yesterday I saw that an 83-year-old woman got her doctorate in divinity. She said she had to stop going to school when she was very young and then believed in herself later on in life, went back to school at an older age, and then got her doctorate in divinity. And then I saw this right as we were walking in, a registered nurse, grandmother. She became a registered nurse at the age of 69. So you see, it's never too old to do what you want to do in life. Absolutely love that. Okay. How would you like to eat a deep fried, sauteed, or baked cicada? Ew, doesn't that just sound disgusting? Well, that is what might be happening at the Missouri Botanical Gardens. They are hosting a public taste testing as billions of cicadas are making their way into our area. We actually have 2 broods that are emerging, and this is a rarity, but hopefully it won't happen for a long, long time again. Have you heard them, by the way? Are you starting to hear the what I think is a very annoying noise. My husband, however, loves it, says it's signs of summer to him. So one thing, seeing them in the trees. I saw them on my mom's garage the other day, but tasting them, no thanks. And it might be a delicacy to eat bugs in other areas, but you tell me, what do you think? Insects? No thanks. Deep fried, sauteed, baked, who knows what else they're going to do. But if you go to the botanical gardens, that's what they're going to do, a public taste testing. All right, in sports, Nolan Arenado's homer keys an 8-run rally. If you were watching the Cardinals game against the Angels, you may have gone to bed and said, all right, here we go again. The Cards aren't going to win. That's not the case. Big comeback in the 7th, an 8-run rally. They come from behind. The Cards surge past the Angels 10-5. That's a 2-game win. Could they wrap the series and another win? Maybe. So we'll let you know on that tomorrow. And then Caitlin Clark. I know a lot of you are big WNBA fans, debuting with the Indiana Fever, and they're playing against the Connecticut Sun tonight. First time in decades, by the way, that the Sun have sold out their home opener. There you go. Caitlin Clark, the face of the WNBA. All right, with regards to weather, you are experiencing some light drizzle this morning as you're heading out. Please be careful. I heard some bad accidents in North County on eastbound and westbound 270 this morning. A lot of those have been clear. However, there was a pretty big backup on westbound 270 from about New Halls Ferry all the way up into the inner belt. So take it a little slow. Don't be racing around. The roads are wet. Could get a little worse. We've got rain and storms in the forecast. 74 for a high, 58 for your low. Wednesday, I'm going to call the pick day of the week with a high of 77. We're not talking about any rain on Wednesday. The low will be 61. Now, there is a possibility of some strong storms, so we might bring Beckett back on Thursday when we're doing our Just Pools live remote, which I'll tell you about in just a second. Thursday could be a low-level severe weather day. 70% chance of storms with a high of 76, our low 63. Friday, we've got an 80% chance of rain, the high 78 and the low of 62. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, really great days. Nice change in the weather pattern with a high of 84, and then Sunday's high will be 86, and we could be even a little bit warmer than that on Monday. So just got to get into the weekend and pass these wet days. I just mentioned on Thursday, we're going to have a sit down by the pool. I hope that severe weather waits until the afternoon. We'll check in with Beckett with that on Thursday. Just Pools is having us out. They booked us for a live show at 7 a.m. West Outer Road in Arnold. And Madonna, I want to thank you so much for believing in us, because not only are we doing our show Thursday from her location, but she's actually going to become a part of our show as one of our regular sponsors for the rest of the year. So please welcome aboard Madonna Livingston with Just Pools. And we'll talk about their storied history and get you a pool, hopefully, because there's some big Memorial Day savings coming up. All right, it's 7:07. That's all the news you need, the sports you need, the weather you need. Let's get into our show. We've got so much to talk about today. Christy Prosser Hall, she is the owner of Firefly Grill in Chesterfield, a longtime friend of mine. We've got so much to talk about. I know you're going to enjoy this show, so don't go anywhere. She'll be in the blue chair when we return. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment, or online, EnvitaHealthandWellness.com. Welcome back. It is 7:10. I love the realness of the show and the behind the scenes. We're going to actually just start this right away. The Real Monica Adams Show, and a dear friend of mine from my youth. We're going to go all the way back to my teenage years. Christy Prosser Hall, thank you for coming in.
Thank you
and
for having me.
And what were you saying?
I was enjoying the behind the scenes, actually.
That's the thing. We always talk about doing the show after the show, which we used to do when I was in television. Mm-hmm. And people were so immersed into all of that saying, I need more of that. I know, we need the cameras to roll during breaks. And afterwards, she's
got
like,
it now.
"Shh." No, my guests are always like, "Oh, I'm sorry, are we on?" I'm like, "We're starting to come back," but you don't have one of these in your ear, so you don't know that. Well, welcome to our show. First of all, we've been talking about this for a while now, and super
Almost
excited.
a year,
Yeah.
probably.
We're going to talk. We're going to go back, and we're going to come forward. We'll probably go back and forth, but. How long has it been that you and I have known each other? In my teenage years, right?
Probably 1990.
90?
Yeah.
I was thinking.
Yeah, because
Yes.
90. Yeah, because I started in '89 there, Caparoos, where we met.
Okay, so let's go. For all of you that may have grown up in North County or drove up to North County, how many of you, and I'm going to be looking at the comments, went to Caparoos, which was directly across from Coke Park? Phenomenal, great food, wonderful sports bar. We had so many amazing people coming in there. Do you remember the shows that we used to do with the Blues?
Oh yeah, I still see the pictures.
Yeah.
Pop up on Facebook. You know,
It was so
Jeff
much
Brown
fun.
and all them.
Right?
And we had so much fun.
We had the big
Yeah.
round table when you walked in the front door, and we did broadcast from there, which I absolutely loved. But good memories. And then Christy walked in this morning, and I didn't remember this until she said it. But what did you say you used to do?
We used to follow you around and watch you do karaoke.
Yes, they did.
And she didn't actually recall it. And then she remembered Cattleman's.
Cattleman's.
And she was actually a great singer, too. So.
Well, thank you. I loved it. And I actually haven't done it in years, and people still talk about going to karaoke. Didn't know it was still a thing. But Cattleman's, honestly, Christy, I believe, was the very first place in all of St. Louis,
That
and
ever
probably in many states
Yeah.
away, that brought karaoke in. And,
my-
and
yeah.
it was thriving. It was an old steakhouse up in North County. Yes, forgot. There was a big group of you that actually
we
traveled
all,
around.
from Caparoos, we'd follow you around.
We had so much fun, and the food was so phenomenal. I still miss a lot of that. You, however, you were my manager, so I was a waitress. I don't think, did I bartend there before I left?
I can't remember.
Maybe on Saturdays, I
Yeah.
think I started. And then I ended up, I don't know if you all know this, but then I went around and I bartended at Krieger's and a little bit of Texas. And yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that's where you learn hard work, right?
Yes,
I think every parent should have their kid do some sort of food related waitressing
And
or
that's how
hosting.
both my kids grew up, standing on a crate, washing dishes.
Yes, dish. I mean,
Because they weren't tall enough, so we had to boost them up.
the entire team that it takes to put together a place that you want to come back to over and over and over again. So yeah, really, really, really good times. You left there. You had a restaurant in O'Fallon, Missouri for 20 years. And did you take some of the food and the rest that you had there at Caparoos? Some of the
Yes, we
recipes,
did have
right?
some. Yeah, we did. The
chicken
changed-
wings,
yeah,
didn't you?
Chicken wings,
Yeah.
added things down the road, and even had the Caparoos salad.
The
that
salad,
came
that's what I
along.
thought.
Yeah, so it was great food, and 20 years of doing all that. Lots of chicken wings.
Again, for all of you that know I'm big into health and wellness, you're probably like, Monica, you didn't eat chicken wings. Yes, I did.
Yes, you did.
It was that, and then
The breaded chicken wings.
I wish I had a picture of her, Lisa Huska,
Yep.
who cracked me up. She was also one of our managers, and there was a burger named after her. That
It was a
incredible.
chicken. It was the Huska.
Yes.
And with the
Oh,
hot pepper cheese.
I'm sorry. The Huska chicken, yes. But then the Caparoos burger is what I always loved. There was a burger with hot pepper cheese,
hot pepper cheese,
jalapenos,
jalapenos,
and
and then Heinz 57
Heinz
sauce.
57 sauce. Try it, by the way. Make one of those for yourself at home.
I
So,
actually
you guys
just made myself one
You
last
did?
week because I was craving it.
See, we can't give up our memories from our youth. Okay, somebody said, OMG, with the couple's friends, so many times we partied there. We were young, alive, and had so much fun. I know, good memories, right? Well, that is
Right.
where we first met.
And oh my gosh,
then-
and all the old friends that we still kind of run into and see.
Well,
you know?
I just saw at I emceed the Incarnate Word auction just about 3 weeks ago, and Kelly Donahue, Frederick King,
Yes.
yep, she was there. Cheryl Camp, Cheryl Meter, she was a dear friend of mine, one of my best friends growing up. Cheryl worked there. Kelly Jenkins Weesey, right?
And God love her. She just
went through
6 months
Yes.
of I think she's cancer free. She's
Yes.
been through it all. I
Yes.
just watched it yesterday, so God love her.
And that's the thing, to watch all these people that you were friends with, and that's the beauty of social media, that we get a chance to see what everybody's been up to.
Yeah, catch up with everybody.
The names could go on and on and on
Yes.
of how many friends that are still friends because you had that bond again when you were young. But yeah, until you gave me all the notes on you having the restaurant, I did not know it had been 20 years. My brother actually lived right around the corner from the shopping plaza where that restaurant was.
Behind,
I was like,
I
we
think,
went on there. Yeah,
you would stop in for your breaded chicken wings.
Absolutely. So if you're just tuning in, Christy Prosser Hall is my guest, and we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're just kind of reliving growing up in North County, having the restaurant. So you left there in what year?
2022.
2022.
2022, yes.
Is that right?
I believe so.
When did you open Firefly?
Well, gosh,
Yeah,
it's
I'm
been
thinking
2
that-
years.
yeah.
So is 2021.
Okay.
It's kind of a blur. See?
Okay, see?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, so it'll be 2 years, June 14th, that we've been open, that have been open.
Okay, so, and you have children,
I have a 23-year-old and a 21-year-old.
which you don't look like you can have a 23 and a 21-year-old.
Drew and Alyssa. They're great.
Hi,
so.
Drew and Alyssa. When you watch this, if you're not up now, probably you watch this later and be proud of Mama. You left there, and then you were talking about what you were going to do, and then within days, here you are shopping for restaurants.
I was telling my daughter, maybe we'll get a little boutique or something, and then 4 days later, I was literally just shopping for restaurants, and then...
Do you feel like it's because it's in your blood and you were just,
Yes.
you can't go away from it?
Yes, I mean, it's definitely very hard opening a brand new restaurant and starting, but I knew it was. I mean, somebody had called me, and I answered the phone, no caller ID, I didn't have his name, and he just said, "Are you crazy?" And I said, "Yes, and who is this?" Because I knew I was crazy by doing this, and everybody knew I was crazy, but, it was scary because, it jumped out, I'm thinking, what did I do?
Yep.
But I just believed in it.
And that's the thing.
myself.
And that's what one of the overall messages, the underlying message and the overall message. It depends on, how people receive things. Is it something you feel is behind what we're talking about, or does it jump out at you? Belief in oneself and taking a chance.
Mm-hmm.
And if people say you're crazy, which many people around you will, those are the naysayers. Those are the ones that want to try to lead you away, or they don't want you to succeed. So Christy, tell everybody else that's been through that or will go through that in life, how do you just swat those away and do what you feel is right?
Well, you just want to prove people wrong, too. The people who didn't believe in you, who didn't think, and then now I'm looking here after almost 2 years thinking, because the first year was such a blur, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, working endless hours, short-staffed. We're still post-pandemic of employees, and worked in the kitchen a lot, open to close, but that was where my heart is. So, but I'm officially out of the kitchen, and I get to
Congrats.
socialize and meet all these wonderful customers. But it was, put everything into it, but I believed in myself.
Sure.
And I didn't, I have nowhere else to go or nothing else to do. I just, got to run this restaurant.
What did your kids say?
Well, like I said, my daughter, but they knew it was in my blood, and they'd helped get it cleaned up, and they were there. They have worked for me they still work for me. They work at both restaurants sometimes too, and it's just a different world because there's two different worlds. So,
Right.
yeah. So,
Well, and we'll talk about this also. We'll talk about loss of a parent. We'll talk about divorce. We'll talk about finding love later in life, which I want you all to believe in, because a lot of times people feel like it's not going to happen for me. There's a lot of you that in the last year plus that we've been doing this show say, Monica, I feel like a dark cloud follows me around. I'm sure you've been there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Everybody
very.
has this roller coaster of life.
Yeah, I never would have thought. I wasn't looking. I was fine being by myself and didn't know what I was missing until it fell in my lap.
Well, Christy, didn't everybody always say, though, it's when you're not looking that person walks into your life?
But I kind of lived, I guess I was just so alone for so long, business partners or whatever like that. But finding Nick, he just was everything I didn't know I was missing.
Yep.
The companion, the guy who's getting the door, the guy who never rolled his eyes, and I forget something at the grocery store on Father's Day, and he's like, "I'll be right back," and never. And I'm like, this is wonderful.
This exists?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've got some pictures that we're going to sprinkle in throughout the show of Nick, of the kids, of the restaurant, all these aspects. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to dig deep into a lot of these topics that I'm sure you're going to hear your own story in. And hopefully, coming out of this show, you'll have a little more inspiration, a little more motivation to do what you want to do, all through my dear friend Christy. We'll have more with her when we return.
She's a special woman and done so much for St. Louis.
Watching her work is one of the most incredible things you can see.
She just sees value in everyone.
Sometimes people just need you to sit with them and hear them. I feel heard.
The time flew by, and it was like sitting and talking to a friend.
Not only creating a better place here in St. Louis, but to inspire others. It's always great to have examples like you.
You have such a light and such a presence, and I could feel it this morning.
We knew right away when you started this, we wanted to be on your show. Thanks for having us.
I look forward to seeing how you rock and roll and shake it up.
$7.20. Much for being a part of the show today, the Real Monica Adams Show, and we are sitting down with Christy Prosser Hall, talking about a lot of different things. If you're just tuning in, we talked about how we grew up in North County together. So if you, by chance, grew up in Florissant or were around Florissant, if you old copperoos, which there's so many amazing memories, and we could do an 5-hour show on just that alone, and the good times that we had for sure. But the beauty of social media is that you stay in touch with these people that were a big part of your life. And so I was able to watch Christy throughout the years. I'm like, oh, she's over here. Oh, she's over here. Oh, she got divorced. Oh, now she's opening this restaurant. I was so proud of her. We started talking about doing a show from her restaurant about a year ago. And now we are, by the way, because when is your anniversary?
It's June 14th.
And it'll be
2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
2 years. And so we're going to do a show on May 30th. We're going to do it at 4 o'clock. It's usually an hour. I can guarantee it'll probably be longer than that because we're going to be having so much fun. We want you to come out to it. I know a lot of you were saying that you wanted to be there for it. Mark it on your calendars. Grab your family and friends and do just that. So you decide to move into Chesterfield, Firefly Grill. And somebody just asked if it was affiliated. There's a restaurant in Effingham, Illinois. You're not.
No affiliation. Just the name. Something I searched for a couple weeks. Firefly means let the light shine on. It was my next step in my next chapter. So no affiliation, but I heard wonderful things about it. I haven't visited yet.
Both great restaurants. So if you want to go to Illinois, there you go. We actually just within the last month, it's May already. Well, so back in the end of March, my mother walked into the restaurant and Christy was like, I think that's Mrs. Adams.
Well, of course. And she's all beautiful and dolled up and always full of color.
Yes.
And then here you come. I was like, oh my God.
We surprised her.
Yes.
So it was my aunt, my godmother, my mother, my brother, and myself all celebrating March birthdays. There's March, we go broke in March. There's so many birthdays.
Yes.
It's ridiculous.
We're a May broke
But
family.
it was, see, don't you all have them? It's like multiple birthdays. My brother actually is the one that was picking different places to go. And he said, how about this place? And then he mentioned Firefly. I'm like, no, we've got to go there because I want to go see Christy. And so, yes, the food was fabulous. Everybody was raving at the table. We'll show some pictures of the food for you coming up. But that location has been many things. And you have people who have said, good luck.
Yeah, I've had people said, well, I hope you make it. Pat me on the back, or, it's been failed restaurants. And I'm like, they really haven't failed per se. There was the first restaurant, Wild Horse Grill, was there for 14 years.
Right.
And it's a beautiful location. And when I walked in, I looked at a couple of restaurants out in O'Fallon, and I decided I needed to cross the river. And I did it and took a chance. Yep. And it had so many beautiful, just the ceiling and feeling, and that's what people say. And the first year, it was, I hope you make it. I hope you make it. And I'm like, okay. And then now they're like thanking me, almost the same customers. That was what I walked into. If you see the different colors and everything. And now they're saying, thank you for bringing the place back to life. And they just love, that's kind of what I walked into. And then I got rid of all that, started, but I had to make sure we changed. It had to be something different. People had to walk in and see, changed the bar top, painted, cleaned a lot, and just made it so different. That's Nick. He was shopping with me. But I put a lot of different, and of course it's like having a house. The awnings have been replaced. I mean, now it's black. So it's just really, with the new paint, so that's how it's set up now. So, and my beautiful patio.
I love your patio.
Seats about 60. Dog friendly, of course.
There you
go. So, I just love it. It's just a great area. It's, it's in the neighborhood. Just the customers and the community are amazing.
And for those who have not been there, you want to give them your address?
101 Chesterfield Town Center. It's 63005, and we're located off Long Road, near the airport road. So.
And what's the best for them to follow you on social media? Facebook?
We have Facebook,
Instagram.
Instagram. Then what else was I just going to say?
Are you on TikTok?
No.
No.
I can't. I'm going to try that soon. But we're open Tuesday through Sunday at 11 a.m. So we're closed on Mondays for the day of ketchup.
And mustard?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too.
Firefly Grill STL.com. Check them out. I want you to go there for lunch or happy hour or dinner. You're really going to fall in love with it. So when you took it over to you opening, because that's what when I first saw your post, I was like, oh, Christy's opening this restaurant. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of you. And I remember reaching out going, I'm so proud of you, and was trying to figure out just what you were coming into and then the turnaround. So from taking it over to you opening, what was that time frame?
6 months.
Wow.
It took a long time. One, I had to create, or really walked away from a lot and create a whole bunch of, electricians and finding people to help me. And the place really didn't need a lot of work. It was wait. Then staffing, trying to open with the lack of staff. And then finally came together, but we were still shorthanded.
Sure.
But I was fortunate that I had a group of people that came with me and followed me, and they believed in me. And it was risky for them. It was a big deal, leaving comfort zones. And I'm pretty sure they're all really happy they left and they came with me.
You hear that a lot. I've got a lot of friends around me that are involved in different businesses. And that's a true testament to who you are, though, as people say, well, I'm coming along with you. I'm going to follow along with you. Ooh, what's he eating there?
That would be my dad, and it's probably the steak sandwich, I'm wondering. He was probably on break because he was helping me wash dishes the first couple months. He was actually, his wife of over 30 years had passed about 3 weeks before we opened, and she was sick for a while. But he threw himself into dishwashing, and he was 80 at that time, and all the kitchen staff couldn't believe that it was my dad, and that because he was killing the dish counter. So,
well, hey, that's because that's the generation of knowing how to work hard.
Oh, and he
right?
was.
We
yeah.
need more of that.
That's my dad.
I love Dad.
Yeah, he's wonderful. He's been a big support. So
well, and I know how, we talked about this, about the loss of a parent. I lost my dad when I was 24. Oh, you got a chance to know my dad. That's right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people in my life that were like, oh, I know how important your father is to you, but I never met him. You did. That's right. He died when I was 24. So
it's devastating.
Yeah, absolutely. And you lost your mom at what age?
I lost my mom, I think it was 31.
Yep.
So it's been 20 years. I came home from the hospital with my daughter, and she was 2 hours later. She was diagnosed with terminal cancer.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So we had. I ran her to the hospital, and she made it 11 months. Was my best friend. We were two peas in a pod, and that's what she said. What are you going to do without me? And I'm like, I don't know, Mom.
Exactly.
But spent as much quality time as I could with two kids. Yep, that was Alyssa. So that's when we knew something. She wasn't feeling right, but. She got to the hospital and got to see it hold her daughter, well, my daughter, but she was a really big caregiver to Drew. She would take him shopping, and she would just go on the run. So
I'm sure you two were as close as you see my mom and I, right?
Yes,
Best friends.
And that's kind of how my daughter's relation, it trickles
then
down.
You're blessed.
Oh yes, I mean, because she's just her mother's daughter on top of it. Poor girl.
We want that, by the way, for all of you, and I know that there are relationships that are strained, but I say it all the time, and you know this, life is so unbelievably short. If there's any way that you can just make a call or send a text and just start some type of communication to try to heal the wounds from the past, I just don't want everybody to have somebody, be diagnosed with terminal cancer and then say, this is it, this is the end, and have regrets. We don't want any regrets for any of you. So was she your role model?
Yes. I mean, yes, because my parents divorced when I was young, so she was a single mother for, a long time, but I had a grandmother. My grandmother was a big support, too, with my mom, so...
Strong women.
Yep, and she opened her own business, too. She had left Ralston Farina and decided to dive right in, and she did it. And I worked with her part-time as a valet parking company. I ran her company a little bit, so... Yeah, she was a very strong woman.
So again, we can always see as we grow up bits and pieces of the foundation of where we came from, and then we continue to take that moving forward. And here she is. Somebody said, I love successful women in business. I think my girl group will have to visit your place. Yes. You do have to. What's your most popular dish or drink? You just took some questions away from me.
We have a sangria, strawberry sangria cocktail. That is really popular. Well, we have great wine list. We go through a lot of wines. I've learned to adapt with this different Yes, that is the sangria right there.
That looks delicious.
So we do a lot of wines, and then
More red than white, or 50-50?
oh,
I'm a big
50,
red wine
50.
drinker.
We
50-50?
do go through 4 cases of just one red wine a week.
Which one?
The William Hill.
Okay.
So we have a lot of them to drink it, but the liquor orders that come in, I'm like, wow. And we do have a great draft system. We're going, we have a lot of drafts. We're actually getting ready to carry the Crafty Chameleon. He's bringing in a couple because he's trying to branch out. We're getting a cider in, and we're going to be bringing an IPA. I just love having that local.
I was just going to say, I love the collaborations that I hear in town that people want to use. And the craft beer scene has just exploded over the last decade, which is amazing.
Yes.
That's cool. If you've never been there, really cool place as well. Okay, what's your most popular dish? You just showed earlier the steak sandwich your dad was eating.
Steak sandwich, well, we hand cut our steaks, so that's, but the grilled salmon BLT sandwich is probably.
That is what the entire table had
Yes,
when we came.
that's what everybody gets. So we do the take two. So that's the BLT. So we get our tomatoes locally from Defiance, from Tony Tomato. I think it's Tony Farms. They're so good. So we run that on special every Thursday, and we actually bake. We bake all our bacon in the oven with a little peppercorn. Might still have a little scar from some bacon grease.
Oh no!
Yeah, that was
War wounds.
Yes, yes, it's coming up on a year. So, but our salmon is just even our salmon dish is wonderful.
And the thing I thought was funny when we went in, so yes, I'm not kidding. Everybody at the table either had the salmon BLT or I had, I think, salmon on a salad.
Yeah.
And then everybody was getting soup as well. And so you have this back and forth with who makes a better soup between you and who?
Tyler, who's my head guy in the kitchen. He is wonderful. He is self-taught. I mean, he watches the cooking shows and he comes in, so we try to battle. So sometimes I'm like, somebody just said my soup's way better. So, yep, that's his tomato
Which my mom
basil.
did say. My
Tomato
mom said, I
basil.
like Christy's.
Yeah, but oh my gosh, he kills the soups, and he's the one that's kind of pushed me out. He likes it better when I'm not in the kitchen.
How many of you are starving right now looking at that? Like the simplicity of grilled cheese and a tomato soup when you were growing up, but this is a step up. Tomato basil, there's nothing better.
Don't compare it to Campbell's.
No, oh God, no. Tomato basil soup, though, it's not even just tomato soup. It's the tomato basil that you have to try if you've never tried it
It's
before.
such a great soup.
Exactly. And then is that like an adult grilled cheese, or is that what?
That's just a regular, just 2 pieces. It's provolone and American, so you can of course mix it up. But it's just simple. Keep it simple.
Keep it simple, and it's fabulous. So yes, Michelle's dropping for you, by the way. A lot of you that are saying that you want to go. Okay, somebody else just said I was thinking the same thing. I need to get my Fox ladies to dine there. Well, why don't you put it on the calendar to be there on our live broadcast day, May 30th. Come by early, do a little happy hour, and then stay for the food. So you've given a few. If you had to absolutely positively pick Christy's favorite, is it the salmon BLT, or what would be your go-to?
Well, our chicken, we do chicken tenders. All our chicken is hand cut, fresh, every boneless, every chicken breast, everything's fresh. My walk-in went into a freezer. We took the door off and had it's a complete walk-in now. I have one stand-up small freezer for French fries and ice cream. That is the STL Sweet Heat, or STL Hot Chicken. I wanted to do like the Nashville spin. So, but our chicken strips we drizzle with hot honey and sriracha aioli, and it's just
to die for.
Yep, it's one of our signatures. People come in for.
Now, do you have regular French fries? Do you have sweet potato fries?
We do not have sweet
My
potatoes.
mom always asks that.
I know, and we just have one fry. It's so funny. It's just limited freezer space because fries are frozen because we were making them homemade.
Sure.
It just got to be, it was too much work, but we think I think they're almost as good as McDonald's.
I'm a huge McDonald's. Wow,
they're good.
I am a huge salad fan. So
yes.
You had mentioned you have really good salads also.
Yeah, everything we make in the kitchen is house made salad dressing. So we have a champagne vinaigrette that people are like buying when they're leaving. That has nuts and figs. It's just different, and people try it. They're like, oh my gosh, I would have never tried it. But with the goat cheese in there too, and so. But ranch is we make the ranch fresh with all fresh herbs. So I just love the spin. I added honey mustard against Tyler's suggestion because he doesn't like honey mustard, and it's actually selling like hotcakes.
Well, yes, people do like that. Sometimes you just have to listen to yourself. Okay, Marilyn just said, I have the 30th open. Amazing. We will be there at 4 o'clock. Well, actually, we'll be there at 3 setting up, but our live broadcast starts at 4 o'clock. So, yes, Marilyn and all of your girlfriends, Rose and all of your girlfriends, and everybody else, get the guys, get the girls, couples day out. We would love to see you. You're going to have a lot of fun with us. We'll be doing a lot of laughter, trust me.
Oh, yeah.
Tipping back a drink or two.
Yes.
We might have to have that sangria. That looks amazing. Oh, Richard just said bacon. I love bacon with bacon on top of bacon.
Yes, and it's peppered bacon. So it's baked with a little cracked pepper on it, so it's perfect.
So, Richard, why don't you get all of your friends and come out as well? Julie... you were 27 when your dad passed. Yeah, see, we're talking about a lot of different things. Somebody said I was 27 when my mom passed. We got cheated out of life. That's what you feel like. But you know what? I truly believe your mom, they're watching down for heaven.
Absolutely.
And if they're, again, my mom always says, honey, you have a huge audience up in heaven watching your show. And your mom's up there saying, go girl, right?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think she's saying to you right now?
I mean, she's proud, and especially for the last few years of all the chances and changes that I've made. She would wish she could have been with me to help me along the way.
Yeah.
But I had her strength and knew in my heart, so I know she's very proud.
Absolutely. We wish we could have them here for so many big moments in life. So we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about something that a lot of you may have gone through. You just heard Christy say that her parents divorced at a young age. She got divorced, but the beautiful thing is there's evolution of life that happens, and when you think, again, just how, I mean, we have these books that I read from at the end of every show, Christy, and depression settles in, anger, right? Shame, fear, anxiety.
A lot of
You've
different.
probably been through all of those. And so it'll be hard to pick which one we want to do at the end of the show as we go through all those roller coaster of emotions. But when those of you have loss, we talked about loss of a parent, when you have loss in a divorce and you just think life's over, Christy's here to tell you no, because she ends up finding the love of her life. So we're going to talk about all that when we return. We need women to lift women up. Let's do that.
Being on Monica's show, it was like one of the best interviews I've ever had.
Monica's very real, and she really cares about people.
She's changing lives.
Changing lives.
I think this is just really what people want to see.
Giving back so much to the community, and I really appreciate it.
Today, Monica was extraordinarily real, not only with me, but with her viewers and her listeners.
Made the interview process like talking to a friend.
How are you doing? Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Hey. You're close.
Monica. Whoa.
So go out in this world and be anything you want to be. But before you do that, first, be kind.
7:37. If you're just tuning in to the show, we would love for you to go back, watch the beginning first 40 minutes of the show. You're going to see our upbringing. We're going to talk about our old days together, about how Christy and I first met, and then getting into the many aspects of her new restaurant, Firefly Grill. Let's put it up on the screen again, where they're located. I want you to mark this down for all of you that are saying that you want to go there with your friends or get a couple's night out. It's also for you to try to be there on the day of our broadcast. So there's the address, 101 Chesterfield Town Center, and the email and phone number on there for you. I'd love for you to come if you can on the 30th, if you have it open. If not, please do me a favor and put it on your calendar to grab your friends and family, because I'm really big on you supporting those who support us. And I know you do. I have an incredible, dedicated audience. And Christy actually had mentioned this to me also, that just as people were saying, well, I hope you make it, not only have you made it, but you're thriving, and this whole community that you've built, right?
Yeah, it's been wonderful. Like I said, the customers, and it's so wonderful because I've had, like, Angie's my bar manager per se, who I went to high school with, who would have thought that we would be still working together. And then Kelly, one of my dear friends who helps me with all my books and stuff. But the vibe that we have there, the customers say, everybody's happy.
That's
because
awesome.
We're just working and we're laughing. I say it's a bunch of crazy women running around running the restaurant. I go, they're in charge of me. But just the vibe that we have and the customers, and they say they can see it. You know, I have a lot of customers that want me to sit down and just talk and tell me your story.
Yep.
How are you here? And I tell them, they're like, and they love it because they just need to know it's a. Oh, that was our first Christmas party this past year because we didn't do anything last year. We had the 2 little kids, were the biggest hit. We bowled, and then we went to our friend, my friend Suzanne's place out in O'Fallon. So celebrate their MVP.
They just look so happy
and they
fun.
do. And then Peyton down here on the very bottom is Kelly's daughter. She's 23. She rolls utensils.
Oh.
She rolls all our utensils. She has a full-time job, but she comes in on the evenings with her mom and helps us out. She is wonderful. She's our little mascot.
And you look at those faces and you say, I couldn't do it without them, right?
No,
And that's it. I mean, and you just mentioned,
and there's some missing, of course, because some of them didn't want to bowl. But but they're just a great group. The restaurant life is so, we're a little bit all over the place,
Sure.
with the different people. So
well, and again, if you are just tuning in, we mentioned when she opened up. So you think about businesses trying to open and survive during the pandemic. And how difficult and scary that is.
Mm-hmm.
And here she is thriving, having a community saying thank you and returning, day after day, week after week, and then spreading the word, which is we want you to do. I want you to share this show so people can find out if they haven't been there. It's a scary thing for that. The entrepreneurial spirit, she's thriving with that. A woman-owned business, which I know so people are excited
there's
for you.
so many people that come in, they're like, oh my gosh, they find out, then they're like, they really do want to support it. It's just wonderful. It's great for the support. I mean, just all over. I mean, knowing it's a woman, but just seeing that it's coming together and
Right.
it's working out,
I love it. I can't say it enough how proud I am of you, of many things, because she's thriving after going through a lot of different things in life. So you were married for how many years?
Almost 20.
Almost 20 years.
Mhm.
So you divorce. And
In the middle of the pandemic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then you were mentioning earlier, I mean, obviously they have kids, and so that's always hard also, being torn. But the kids survive, even though there's a lot of you that are like, how's this going to work? There are people who stay in relationships, stay in marriages, I should say, for kids, which is a dangerous thing to do.
Yeah, and I probably did a little too long, but being in the business and that, not thinking there was ever a chance to get out, and then finally figuring out that it was time. And then stayed working together for about a year, which everybody was like, how is this possible? Actually got along a little better, I mean, it was kind of funny, but then I decided it was time to leave. I needed to start a next chapter. Like I said, I really didn't know what I was going to do, but then jumped right into it, but just a different life. I wanted to be in business for myself. I didn't want anybody telling me no anymore, and that's what I did, and that's why I jumped right in and did everything that I dreamed of. And like I said, everything from the drink menu to the way the place looks, putting it together, and the food menu and the freshness. That's all these things that I could never do, and I did it.
It's a powerful thing when you're able to call the shots and someone's not saying, no, do this, do it my way. And when you in your heart and your soul believe, no, it should be done this way. And here she is doing it. And not just doing it, but again, doing it really, really well. Before we talk about finding love later in life, somebody asked a question, which both of us laughed at the break. Somebody asked if you make, okay, here it is. She wanted to know if you make coffee all day. She said they go to restaurants, and when they ask for coffee, they tell me they have none.
And I said, what? We actually have a local coffee guy that just started. It's amazing coffee, and we are happy to make a pot right at closing. You can have 1 cup, and I promise I'm not going to get mad.
Exactly. That is something I remember when we were waitressing at Coppers, and people would come in, and you're like, not that you wanted to make it a whole pot, but you did it.
Yeah, you had to.
Yes, you do. The customer needs to be satisfied. Marilyn came back to that and said, I've never heard that about no coffee available. My problem is no hot cocoa in the summer. That's a winter drink. Really? Tea and coffee available all year long. Come on, people. So, if she wants hot cocoa, can she have that in the summer?
Well, we have it as a specialty drinks. I'm not sure we really have it on hand right now in the middle of summer, but I could work on that.
Okay, Marilyn, if you're coming on the 30th.
Yes, I will get
Christy will bring you hot coffee. Hot cocoa, excuse me. If you're just tuning in, we're talking about many things that, I love this. Marilyn just said, anyone that's a friend of Monica's is a friend of mine.
Oh.
Love longtime friendship. Such a blessing, and I'm blessed beyond measure. Yes. So Marilyn just asked, you mentioned your friend Suzanne. What is Suzanne's restaurant in O'Fallon?
Murphy's Village Pub. She was my right-hand woman my last restaurant, and she left right when I did. She actually asked me if I wanted to go into business with her, and I'm like, I'm never going to have a business partner. So she just opened almost, I think it's been 10 months. We were actually there last night.
Oh,
yeah.
congrats.
Support the women-owned
Please.
business.
Support. And
Yes.
Michelle just did hashtag woman-owned business. I love that. Jillian, my friends and I may have to visit. Not may, do. You
Yes.
and your friends do have to visit. Do you all have any local wines at your restaurant?
Oh, no, I don't think we have any local wines. We're always looking, but no, I don't think I do right now.
No?
Yeah,
I might need
do the
to-
local drafts. That's what I have.
I might have to team you up with Defiance Ridge Vineyards, Chuck Gillentime.
Yeah.
You might want to look into some of his, because he actually teams up and does kind of a cross between Missouri, and then he's teamed up with the family with Camus.
Yeah.
And they do
So
some
they do,
West,
yes.
West Coast
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, hey,
I'm always open. Like I
yeah.
said, we have.
You have to keep an open mind,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yes.
Because things are just always changing so
Yes.
much.
And that's what we do. We wait. We just, people ask, especially the bar customers that we have, wonderful group of people, and they love their wines. So especially when we do have some tastings of people coming in, and we always have them like, what do you think? So they're,
Don't go with that
they're
one.
part of the
Go with this
tasting.
one.
Yeah.
Hold on, there was another one. Okay, we're going to get into this now. Rose said, second time around for me with a husband. God saved the best for last for me. Second time arounders can be the ultimate. So let's go to that. You find love, how many years has it been now?
Almost 4.
Almost 4
Yeah.
years.
So,
Nick,
yes, Nick.
who I need to meet.
Yes.
Is he going to be there on the 30th?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Can't
Oh,
wait for this.
he's there a lot. He has a full-time job.
Well, he was there, I think, the night that we were there, but
Yeah.
we didn't get a chance to see him.
Yeah, so that's him. That was our Colorado trip, which we're going in 2 weeks. We're sneaking away.
You need that,
Yes,
right? You know what?
yes.
That's important, too, which we didn't even talk about. Look at how beautiful
Yep,
you guys
that was
are.
a wedding, one of the weddings we were at.
Balance, Christy, is so important, isn't it?
Yes, balance is. So we're trying to get back to, that's what we're taking. That was our Mexico trip a little over a year ago. So nice to get away. You just forget when you leave everything behind. And my lovely staff were like, I didn't think I was going. I'm like, I'm not packing. They said, if you don't get on the plane, we're walking out. There's no joke. My daughter was the same way. So it's going to be fine. And they ran it. And they're like, see, it can survive without you. But having that time away, especially with good friends and stuff, that when we went, is a friendly reminder of got to make time. And
Okay,
it's been
you could
hard.
probably help me with this, Christy, because I think you would understand that. In your first year, you say, nope, I'm not going anywhere, and I didn't. Now we're a year and a half in. My husband actually had to do this, so this is the love of our lives doing this for us. He was on the couch across from me and typing away at the computer, and I'm like, what is he doing? And then all of a sudden he goes, okay, done. And I said, what's done? He goes, you're going to Cabo with Michelle and some friends.
Oh my gosh.
And I said no to her like 5 times. No,
Can't.
we're not
Yeah.
doing it. I can't do it. And he said, well, you are, because you need this and you deserve it, because
Yes.
you worked your butt off.
Yes.
And so I am going, and he's staying back. He's taking care of the dogs for us. But it's hard, isn't it? Isn't it hard to say, what's going to happen if I'm
Yeah.
away?
Well, but they actually proved to me when I actually am away, like Saturday was a busy, great day. And they're like, see? And I'm like, okay, fine. But it's good for the soul, because
It
you have
is.
to just get away, and I'm fighting that, because that first year was just a blur. I mean, it was
Right. Yep.
drive
Agreed.
this A to B, A to B, A to B, and it was just exhausting. But the good news is Nick would come in and help. He actually helped me make pizzas and salads, because all our dough is fresh too, by the way. So that's where they put me over in the corner with him, and we were laughing. But he helped me a lot, because we were just so shorthanded. But and he's actually sits out in the front. He's just very says an introvert. He's not an introvert, which is the biggest joke. He's like,
There
no.
are, my husband says the same thing, Christy, but I learned a long time ago, it's the name of the book is called The Introvert Advantage. And then you realize at that point, there are extroverted introverts. So does he think he's that, maybe?
Yeah, but we find him over the tables. He's just talking. He comes over
Right.
and we'll tell a story and be like, I'm like, you're an introvert. But he was a
Exactly.
lot of the front of the house for me too, and talking to people, and it was it's wonderful. So
What's his background?
he works at Curium. It's like a radiopharmaceutical plant.
cool.
He's been there for over 30 years.
Wow.
And he's like, he'll be 52. So,
Congrats.
I'm a little older by a year.
You cougar.
I know. I say that, but he says no.
So what is finding, because a lot of people need that kind of hope, Christy. What does finding love again later in life feel like for you?
amazing. I mean, it's just, like I said, you just didn't, I mean, we met as girls for the first time out to dinner. He was so nervous. We had to get there early, and just looking at him and knowing how nervous he was. And then bringing the girls, you know, he met them out front, brought them over, and we had a great dinner. But seeing his love for his girls made me fall in love with him even more, because he just, and seeing how they react to him too, that you just see there's just
that connection.
And that, you know, just like I said, I didn't think I would have been happy being alone. I was just so alone. It's like going to the grocery store. Like I said, going to the grocery store. Sometimes I had to pull in the cart because he's a little laxidate. You know, he's a little slower. And I'm used to being like this. You know, I was always by myself, running.
Go. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm, you know, the people look at me, but it's just nice. It's just so wonderful finding, you know, my soulmate. You know, I mean, we talk about it. I mean, going to be together forever.
Well, and that's the thing. So when Christy was telling me about him, she's like, Monica, he opens doors for me. He the way they treat people. You know, I was always taught, see how they treat their mom, see how they treat sisters, see how they treat a waitress, all those things out of respect, and you'll really get to know the character of a man, and that's what you want. Yes, Sarah, by the way, and Jamie and all the staff that are watching from Invita Health and Wellness, they said shout out all ladies here as well. She has been our title sponsor for the last year.
That's
Believed
awesome.
in this show from the beginning.
That's wonderful.
Yes, we love it. And if, men, we love you as well, but it's just really empowering when we see women own businesses. Oh, good for Jim. Yes, balance. I know I'm listening.
Yes.
I get it. I know how important it is. So I'm so glad for you on so many levels. I'm so proud of you, knowing you for a long, long time in life.
Who
We
would
are still
think-
young, by the way.
Who would think we'd be sitting here
I know, right?
today?
Yes. And we've got so many funny stories. I mean, again, but the one thing that we both could say about each other is we knew the hard work back then and long hours on your feet till 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, like closing the place down, then cleaning everything up. That's why I say I think at some point everybody should dabble in the food business, because you truly do find hard work. You find how you should be treating people, right? Customer service, patience, so many level of things.
Yeah.
And it's really that drive and determination that you have. You make good money, by the way, if you're good at what you do, because
you
people
do.
want to reward you. What do you think, by the way? I didn't even think about bringing this up. I heard this, that I think it's happening in California. They are raising prices. Have you heard about this? They're raising their food and drink prices instead of having people tip the waitresses and waiters. They're taking tips away. What do you think about that? And could that possibly be something that takes over?
I know what happens in other countries, but I don't know. I guess you're trying to get those tips or whatever, but it's an interesting way to go about it. But I'm curious to see if it will really work.
Well, and here's the thing, that because they were asking, it was, I don't remember what TV station I was watching, but they were asking the host after the story, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, I'm kind of torn on whether I like the fact that prices are coming up, but they were saying prices would come up 11%. People tip, hopefully, more than 11%.
Yeah,
so
more
I
than that.
think
So
that they're on the
so
bad
you're
end
just
of
going to
that.
get, you know, I don't know how the people who are used to making really good money, because, you know, the people they are generous with their tips. I mean, I know country clubs do that where they just work. I just think the effort's a little bit more there if you're really earning a tip.
There you go. I totally agree with that. If you know it's based on your tip, then I think you raise your level of work ethic a little bit more, or you should.
Yes, you should.
You shouldn't have the entitled attitude, which we have some. Please don't stereotype young kids and saying that they all are, because that's not the case. Because a lot of people have been struggling trying to find workers again, but you seem to have a good full staff.
Yeah, we're, you know, still a little bit, you know, in the kitchen, a little bit. But that whole kitchen staff, when we're short the dishwasher, they just rotate, and nobody complains. Thank goodness I do close at 9. Don't want the late hours. But
you know what? That's interesting. My husband keeps wanting to know if that'll ever come back. Do you think you'll ever have? No.
That area is a total. I mean, we used to be open till 10, but it's so crazy, Chesterfield. I mean, I feel like sometimes they all get dropped off at a bus. They all come in. We're like, okay, and then I'll come out of the kitchen and I'm like 8:30. I'm like, where are the people I just cooked for? Because we're cleaning up, but that area is different. But I love it. I mean, we'll still have the bar open. We have people sit around the bar. We get a lot of the employees.
So kitchen closes at?
Kitchen closes at 9, so we keep the bar open about an hour later. It's not a law. We just kind of stay.
No, but it's interesting, and I will say this: when I was working at Channel 5, and I would be filling in and anchoring in the evening, and then the news would be done at 10:30. My husband would say, "I'm going to drop you off," and I was like, "Why?" And he goes, "Well, maybe we can get a drink nightcap, right?" And this was coming out of the pandemic, and he's like, it's a ghost town. Is anybody going to be open late anymore? And I said, I don't know. It's just, well, and I don't know. Everyone has their reasons why they think it's what's happening. But a lot of people say that while you were home, you did hopefully you found that you loved being around your family a little bit more. There's a lot of shows now streaming instead of people going to movies.
Yeah, maybe a little
people
different.
do you think maybe?
I don't really
Or what do you
know.
all think, by the way? Why do you think places are just suddenly, let's get back home. We don't want to be out.
Yeah.
You know, we know staying open till 1 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
right?
Yes. Don't miss those days.
Here's two things.
I'm a little too old for it now.
I don't miss that, nor do I miss getting up at 1:30 in the morning. My whole life flip-flopped.
So you get up at 1:30?
I did.
When you were...
Yes, for 30 years.
Oh, my gosh.
Yes. So, which was crazy because we used to work until 1:30 and then get to bed at 2 or 3 if you were lucky.
Crazy.
And then my whole life flipped within like a year, which was hard on the body.
Well, Nick gets up at like 4:45. I'm like, how do you do that?
Now I get up at 4:30. Jim gets up at 4.
We had to share a car because his car was in the shop, and I'm like, he had to take me to work, and I'm like, okay. I had my cup of coffee, and I'm like, let's go. He's dropping me off work at 5:20. No, I went to work, and then the next day we had to do it one more day ago. I mean, I was talking. He was like, it's kind of like my entire, he's kind of quiet in the morning. The next morning, I'm like, this is stupid getting up so early. And I'm driving to work like this. I go, ugh. So that 5:20 getting dropped off, well, that was only 2 days. So we haven't done that again.
Yeah, the early morning. But you know what? There's so much that can be done if you get up early. Well, you're in phenomenal shape. Do you work out?
No.
No? Really?
I lost about 60 pounds kind of prior to the divorce, kind of changed some things up and just started losing weight, and then going through a divorce, and then just staying active, putting deliveries away with heavy, and so
you're constantly moving.
Yeah. So I did lose a little more weight when I opened, so I had to start eating because it's like Thanksgiving dinner. You're cooking, and you don't want to eat. So, but I just stay active. Sure. So I actually was more active when I was heavier, walking the dog all the time. My dog Leon, who's still alive at 14.
Oh, what kind of a dog?
Lab.
A lab?
Yes.
They're the best, aren't they?
He's been on his deathbed since about when he was 10, but he still keeps coming back. He has more lives than a cat. That's him.
There he is.
I finally got him out there, so I had to take the picture because I'm like, he's on my patio, the dog-friendly patio.
Yes, if you didn't hear that, Firefly Grill in Chesterfield is dog-friendly. And I was just posting something actually the other day about some of the top patios in our area. I hope you're on that list. I know
Bishop's Post is, but there's other ones, but I haven't ventured out.
We need to get Firefly Grill on that list, by the way. George Mahey with St. Louis Magazine, put Firefly on there for me, please.
I know, I need to get some flowers planted today. That's my... on the patio. It's like a second home.
See, it's always moved. Well, of course it is.
Pulling weeds, and yes,
there's
fun.
so much.
Yes.
All right, we're going to say it again. Firefly Grill. We are there with a live broadcast. I can't wait to meet your regulars. Can't wait to meet Nick and the family and all these wonderful people who have big smiles on their faces and can't wait to give you the food and the drinks. Firefly Grill STL.com. There's their phone number, located in Chesterfield, and we would love for you to be there if you can on our live broadcast day, May 30th. It would be great. Grab your friends. Grab, as I said, a couple's night out, girls' night out, guys' night out. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, I mentioned, there's your address, by the way. We always wrap up with our 100 Days to Freedom. We've talked about a lot of topics today that I know a lot of you feel resonate with your life. So one is from depression. One is from, we did overeating yesterday, so we're not going to do that one. One's shame, one's anger, and then the purple book is fear and anxiety together. Which one are you feeling?
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh, anxiety, but I feel way better now.
But that was a feeling, right? And it can be in so many professional and personal aspects of life. So this is how we'll wrap up 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety when we return. Envita Health and Wellness, where you can feel your best both inside and out. Envita isn't your typical med spa. They're a multi-specialty medical spa and wellness center serving St. Louis and its surrounding areas. They have ketamine for mental health and pain, IV therapy, medical weight loss, and aesthetics treatments. As board-certified anesthesia providers, Envita can ensure that their advanced treatments are provided safely with minimal to no pain. So let Envita take care of you. Call 314-394-0950 to book an appointment or online envitahealthandwellness.com. And welcome back. We are wrapping up with 100 Days to Freedom from Fear and Anxiety. And I saw a couple of comments coming in. I'll get to those right before we wrap up for you. This one's called Eternal Hope. So, Christy, think about this, right? Hope going through divorce. Hope losing her mother. Hope when people say you can't open a restaurant. Hope you can't survive in that location. All these things, naysayers, naysayers, naysayers. And you say, watch me. Let them watch is a hashtag that we started about a year and a half ago. And we got to keep that one going. So, Eternal Hope. When I saw him, I fell at his feet as if I were dead. But he laid his right hand on me and said, quote, "Don't be afraid. I am the first and I am the last. I am the living one. I died, but look, I am alive forever and ever, and I hold the keys of death and the grave." That's actually Revelation 1, verse 17 through 18. Our faith journey, it's unique to each and every one of us, right? We came to faith in Jesus Christ through many different churches, traditions, and people who carried the message of the gospel. Now, some of you may not be sure whether you really believe Jesus died and rose again, and that's okay, or even if he is the Son of God. Again, that's okay. You have to find your own belief in what you're guided towards. Others may have a solid faith in Jesus, but because of some of the traditions, churches, and people along their faith journey, they may live in fear that if they do something wrong, Christ will reject them. Well, the good news of Jesus Christ is that you can be saved from living apart from God. Your faith in Christ can bring you peace. That's what we're all looking for, isn't it? And assurance that God is always with you. So if you're living in fear of not being accepted by Christ, you can change that today by accepting his love, his grace, his mercy. If you already have given your life to Christ and believe him to be the Son of God, yet you are still living in fear, ask the Lord today to reveal his truth to you and bring you peace. Christ died and rose again so you can experience freedom. If your past makes it hard for you to experience that freedom, connect today with someone. Talk about your faith. Maybe you join a Bible study. My mom actually just did that, which I thought was super, super cool. And begin to know the truth that will set you free. Being confident of your salvation will begin to calm those fears within you. You'll learn to live your life in close relationship with God and know you will never be rejected. Charles Spurgeon said, "The roaring thunder of the law and the fear of the terror of judgment are both used to bring us to Christ, but the final victory culminating in our salvation is won through God's loving kindness." David Jeremiah said, "Saving us is the greatest and most concrete demonstration of God's love, the definitive display of his grace throughout time and eternity." And Beth Moore said, "Faith is not believing in my own unshakable belief. Faith is believing in unshakable God when everything in me trembles and quakes." That's a good one. Today's prayer: Lord, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Savior of the world and that he died and rose again to forgive my sins. I receive your grace by faith. Thank you for my eternal salvation. Amen. And you know, I brought faith into this show at the very beginning. I think maybe even from day one when I started the show from my house. I actually, Christy, had people say, "Are you afraid to talk about faith?" And I'm like, no, I'm going to shout it because I'm not pushing anything on you. It's my belief. We all have a belief, I hope, that there's something guiding us, someone, whether you believe in God or not. I think at some point you'll realize if you don't have faith, I don't know how you survive.
Yeah, exactly.
With every time we get knocked down.
Yep. Have
right?
to have faith.
Yes,
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely. Okay, and there was a couple that came in. I don't want to wrap up without having you be heard. A lot of people are saying women-owned business, and I want to support that. I mentioned earlier in Vita Health and Wellness, all women-owned as well. Marilyn, with Kathy Kilo Peterson, she said, you both are working so hard, all women team in their office as well, very hardworking boss. We have over the years hired men. This is from her, not from my mouth. She said they just cannot handle all the estrogen. Stephanie said, I cook breakfast. I was up at 3 a.m. every day, 45 years getting up early. Now a 5 a.m. wake-up call, right? And you get to sleep in 2 extra hours.
Wow.
I get up at 4:30. That's 3 extra hours of sleep, right? It's funny that we are saying that. Happy for you. Women rule. Someday I'll find my right guy. Yes, you will,
Yes, you
Stephanie.
will.
Just believe. And as we said before, when you stop looking, watch what happens. When you don't have so much focus on wanting things, it's like I heard in the past that we are living in an it society, immediate, right? So when you can have some patience and relax and calm down a little bit, have clarity of mind, watch what happens around you. Christy, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's
Absolutely.
so great catching up.
We are going to continue this on May 30th. So it's on our calendar, by the way. You can go on our website, TheRealMonicaAdams.com. Michelle has loaded up our events calendar so you can see everywhere where the Real Monica Adams team will be. We're going to have a blast out there, and I know a lot of you have been saying that you want to come. So let's see it. Let's have a big challenge to see just how many of you will show up that day. 4 p.m. is the broadcast start time, May 30th at Firefly Grill. And you just heard it in the message, and that is to show kindness to people. That's the way we wrap up every one of our shows. Truly, today, I hope you heard the message. You can go out and be anything you want to be in life. Forget about the naysayers. Just let them watch and be kind. God bless you all.